hip-hop culture with DJs and singing graffiti art. Are expressed every day within the inner cities of America and the world. You are not doing hip-hop, you are hip-hop.
There's always something going on in the background. I tell you, man. Okay, so let me just go ahead and tell you what is going down. I've got a nice big glass of sweet tea because it's been that kind of day. Got up this morning, got 5 miles in, and I am feeling it. But I don't want to stay there too long because, clearly you didn't come here to hear me talk about me drinking sweet tea. So let me just say that. Let me start off really quick with what's been on the mind as we get into today's topic, because it's so funny how life keeps giving us all these lemons, it keeps giving us all these lemons that makes having these kinds of conversations a little easier because there's so much proof about what is going on. So I have on the screen here a picture of Thomas Price's Grounded in the Stars, I'm not mistaken, is the name of this sculpture. It is in Times Square, so New York City, and it is a sculpture of the average Black woman, right? Now, a couple of things that people should be aware of, because this sculpture has been causing a kerfuffle on the interwebs and just like everywhere. So the average woman in terms of size is like what, a 14, 16 in terms of size. And when they do these sculptures in Times Square, typically the person who has been put there has been a white man, right? And so this Black guy comes in and says, I'm going to put the average Black woman in a space to say she needs to take up space. You need to see her, right? And I'm going to completely ignore all the comments that men have made. I don't care about those comments. Like nobody cares about those comments. But I want to talk about the women who have made comments about this sculpture. Now, quick little side note, there was some guy who mentioned that if he was going to do a sculpture, it could have been like a woman who pretty much came from Wakanda, right? So she's thin, she's got like this sort of princess thing, it's just, which the women dragged him for. So let's go ahead and just put that to the side. But the way these women described this sculpture, so disheartening, but also so very telling, that there were women who said, when I see this sculpture, I see a Section 8 woman. I see a woman who has multiple baby daddies. I see someone who is disheveled. Why they have to pick this version of us? It was just the most disgusting comments. And then there was somebody who said, if looking at this does not disturb you, you should look inside. And the only thing I could think of was, your insides should be checked. Because think about it. When Black folks decide to put on their best for the acceptance of those who have no melanin, that's telling. It is telling, right? That you're so concerned about how your hair is presented, what clothes you're wearing. You have this idea that all Black people represent you. So let's not do X, Y, Z because I don't want the white folks talking about us. That's telling. But also it's very telling that a number of Black women believe that women who he wanted to honor, shouldn't say wanted to, has honored, don't deserve to be seen or heard, don't deserve to be celebrated. What does that say about us? Now, somewhere in the near future, we're going to talk about sisterhood, because clearly we need to talk about some things. This is an average woman. Yes, her hands are on her hips. She is tired. No, not tired. She's tired. She's tired. We are tired. Let's just go with the narrative that she is a single mother. Let's go with that narrative first. Think about the work she has to do to get herself together, to get her family together, to do whatever it is that she needs to do to take care of her family. That's a job. Maybe this lady is married. And even with that, the work is never ending. Takes care of the husband, the partner, takes care of the kids, works a full job, comes home and works some more. Why do those women not deserve to be seen? Why should those women go into spaces and shrink themselves? Why? Whose idea was that? Why are we doing that? So let's talk about today's topic, shall we? Because we're going to talk about women shaming. Let me just get into that really quick, because it is women who do the dirtiest. Now, I know men say some stuff and do some stuff, but the war on women is only still a war because women help keep it going. Understand that. We're going to talk about them too later on this month. It's the women shaming that does, in my opinion, the most damage. The most damage. Women shaming. And we see it. Just going through the comments about that sculpture. Oh my goodness. Oh my. I thought, what? Now we can forget about community conversations. We don't have to talk about that. Let's just work on us first as an individual and how we see ourselves. Why some of us feel the need to be snatched, to look like brat dolls. Now, I've already said it. However you want to be seen, that is you. I don't care. At the exact same time, though, you should not be pushing your own narratives. And I know I said should. I mean this should. You should not be pushing your narratives on somebody else. You shouldn't. If you want to go out and do whatever you're doing, have at it, kid. You got it. But to make another woman feel some kind of way, oh, yes, that's a special something. That's a special something. So let's do this. Let's play this intro, and then we're going to get into it. Good afternoon. I am Gwendolyn G.R. Houston Jack. This is Guuuuurl. Listen. And we are live because it's Friday. It's Friday. It's 4 o'clock somewhere, 5 o'clock. Okay, it was 4 o'clock here. 5 o'clock somewhere else, 3 o'clock, and so on and so on. But welcome. We are streaming live to LinkedIn, also to YouTube. And I suggest that, you come on over to YouTube. It's a better experience. I'm just saying. But you don't have to come over if you don't want to. But it's a better experience. But I do want to also mention that it is TGIF. That G is 5 Fridays because it is Friday. And we start here and then we roll over to Indie Suit Media for a replay of Girl Listen, as well as a new episode of Ladies Listen Up. And funny enough, tonight's topic is the choice is yours. Funny enough, I didn't plan it that way. Things just happen. That's how my brain works. But lastly, want to let you know that if you cannot join us on video, you can always get your podcast on Amazon Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and again, Indie Suit Media. Yes, Girl Listen is available all those places. What can I tell you? I'm trying to get out there. So today's topic is Womanhood Unscripted. We want to get rid of trying to make everybody fit into some box. Want to get rid of it. So let me get into some comments before we continue. Shout out to my mother who is here. Gotta love mother showing up. She says hello to all the guys. Dr. Tachi is also here in the building. And since we're talking about this Thomas Price piece, she says, I see a student. I don't know what others see. When I say telling, it is telling what people see. Now, I just wrote down the other day that I want to do a topic around word choice. because the words we choose to use in all situations makes a huge difference. And it is eye-opening when people open their mouth. She also says, absolutely, the women who are always dressed to the nines get some level of recognition, even if it's not enough. People in plain clothes are often written off. And indeed, women tend to help keep it alive. This is a war on women because of internalized misogyny and internalized racism. Again, later on this month, we will talk about the women who are misogynists. We are going to talk about these silent saboteurs, because people assume that, well, she's a woman, I'm a woman, so yay, sisterhood. That is a no. That is a no. Ron Foster is here. Shout out to Ron Foster. Thank you for joining up, sir. And she also says, I'm glad the confetti wasn't the blue powder. Let me tell you, we are double checking all the canisters moving forward, because I got some work to do. I am determined to work on this blue confetti this weekend. We shall see how far I go. But he also says hello all, and that's what he says. Hello, Ron. Let me tell you. Oh, let's talk about it. Womanhood Unscripted, because we need to get into this. And I'm not going to do every single something, right? We're not going to do every single something because, well, there's a lot. Like when I started writing the list of things that women are told and they are shamed into, man, that list got long, and I only have 30 minutes here, people. Can I go longer? I know I can, but it's Friday. A woman is tired, and I have things to do. So I'm going to use this soapbox. I'm going to cover 3 things. I'm going to keep it rolling, right? But you can check it later on for like an article, because I'm going to write something. But let's talk about, when are you getting married? Oh, women, people. If you're not married, clearly you are damaged goods. If you're not married by what? Is it 22, 25? Is that the age now? You are damaged goods. Something's wrong with you. See, I want to make this clear. We are operating in a world where there are multiple generational programs at play. There are women who were told, no, take it back. They weren't told. There are women who couldn't leave their home unless they were married. So there wasn't an option. It was like, go to college, go to school, go somewhere, get chosen, and then you can now leave this house, because, women didn't have rights. It's not like you can go and get your own car, have your own cash. There were some things that women did not do. So in order to leave the home, you had to be married off. And then let's say that you did not get chosen, but want to do some things, then your father had to get permission for you to do X, Y, and Z. So let's just make sure we're clear about that, right? Ron says, 30. Okay, so if you're not married at 30, you were an old maid. All right, just one note. Trying to figure out where we are in these things. Yeah, getting married. When are you getting married? Because if you're not married, then something is wrong with you. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I made some decisions based on this story. And it's interesting because, like, when you try to force something that's not there, it never works in your favor. Never. But it was this whole idea of, well, I got to get married. And I remember, I'm not blaming my father, so hear me clearly. But I remember him asking me, do you ever plan on getting married? I thought, I guess, I suppose. And then you start looking for whomever to fill that role. And that's when problems happen. But the women who shame those who are not married, right? They ask about, well, when are you going to get married? And how about so-and-so? And what's going on here? And, being married was like the best thing ever in my life. It's just so, yeah. They give this idea that without a partner, you're incomplete. You are less than, right? That's the assumption. Not only do you get it from those who are married, you get it from those who are, I'm going to say, older, because that was the story. The story was you go here, you get married, and then you give your life away. Ooh, Gwendolyn, did you say that? I said it. You give your life away. Women didn't have options. And let me give you like the very best example of this. Think about the color purple, right? The color purple. You were just there. Celie was just there to take care of the house and serve some other needs. She was not cared for. She was not loved. And the story for the man is, well, he's just a man. He doesn't have to be a partner. He doesn't really have to show up. He doesn't have to care. Look, he can go out and do whatever he wants to because he is a man. Fast forward, you have some of these younger dudes who still get that message from somebody, and they're wondering why young women are like, partner, you got to bring something more than that to the table. Something more than just, I am man. It's not enough, because this generation has options. They can go to school. They can have their own money. They have their own transportation. They can have their own home. They have options, and they are living in those options. They are not choosing to get married the moment they come out of school. They're not choosing to do what? Have kids at the age of 20 and whatever. First of all, the cost of living is ridiculous. Ridiculous. I saw an article the other day that I think it's 60% of American families can't afford the cost of living in this country. That's a lot of people. That's more than half. That's a lot of people. And you want me to bring kids into this world and I can't even feed my own mouth? But let's talk about the kids. Let's talk about the women who say being a mother is the best thing ever. And until you have kids, your life has no meaning. Oh, okay. Really? Is that what we're doing? Without children, I have no meaning in life. So I'm simply here to, I don't know, breed and populate the world. Forget the fact that maybe the good Lord gave me all this talent, all this genius, and I want to share that with everybody else. Forget that. Life is simply about birthing children, and the more, the merrier. As a matter of fact, I could have sworn this regime was one of giving out medals. Yes. Now, I don't have anything against motherhood. I don't. Nothing against motherhood whatsoever. Do I believe that some women shouldn't be mothers? We've seen that, Mommy Dearest, and there's some other real life examples. Yes, everybody's not meant to be parents. They're not fit to be parents. Nothing against motherhood. Now, I've already shared that when my nephew was born, I was like, not gonna happen. And I kept making decisions that led me towards not getting married and not being a mother. It's just, I didn't see it. One, I'm not that responsible. I know I look responsible. I'm not that responsible. But two, when I think about some of the health conditions I have, now I will tell you right now, I am a carrier for the sickle cell trait. I'm a carrier. I don't have it, but I'm a carrier. Did it stop me from having kids? No. All it says is whoever you got with, you got to have a conversation, because if you're a carrier and he's a carrier, then there's that. That's called science. Now, that didn't deter me either. It was just, I loved traveling. I love getting out into the world, seeing the world, traveling, doing all these things, and not being concerned about somebody at home who needed me. Now, I had a rabbit. I had pets. And even with the pets, I had to get a pet sitter. But a whole human? A whole human. And for what, 18, 19 years? That's a lot. That's a big commitment. Gwendolyn was not built for that. Now, I am a grandmother, and I love my grandbabies. I love my grandbabies. Love them dearly. But motherhood was not meant for me. But when you see other women telling women that their life means nothing unless they have kids, they completely forget that not all of us are able to have kids. Some women struggle to carry a child for 9 months. Some women struggle with getting pregnant. Some couples struggle with getting pregnant. It's not as easy as it seems. If you want to see how bad it is, check the maternal rates. Check it. Because it's looking kind of bad out there. In terms of healthcare, yeah, it's looking kind of bad out there. People think you just get pregnant and then 9 months later, things just happen. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. The mortality rates for women, especially Black women, it is ugly. If you can get there. And even if you do get assistance, you still have to carry that child. That's a lot. That's a lot on the human body. But some women don't think about that when they open their mouths and say things of that nature, right? Let me throw one more in there because this one goes with it. So here you are, right? Now, when you're pregnant, everybody loves you. They're like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. You're like blooming and you're just so amazing. Oh my God, look at you. All right. But the moment you've had that baby, the first thing they ask is, when are you losing that baby weight? That's the first thing. Hear me clearly. You had a whole human inside of you. A whole human. You have pushed this human out into the world. Good for you. Happy. Baby's healthy. 8, 9, 10 pound babies. However big they are. 10 pound babies. And all of a sudden someone is telling you, when are you going to lose that baby weight? They have gone so far as to offer you cosmetic surgery after you've birthed this kid so that you can snatch it right back. Really? Seriously? Is that what we're doing? Is that the message? You're beautiful when you're pregnant, but when if you're not having another child and you are like, we're talking immediately afterwards. Like, how unrealistic is that? How unrealistic is it? We have seen these women go into surgery. Some of them make it out. Some of them do not. Some of them have complications. And then all because someone says you should be like a rubber band and snap back after you've had a whole human, maybe 2, 3 humans in your body. That's insane. And it's the women who show up and say, are you working out? We can get together and yeah. So let's do this. What are we supposed to do? Now, I don't have any kids, and people have said things to me and I'm like, okay, that's a no. And I will say this, my dad, God bless him, it was 2 days before I was getting married and he was asking me if my husband and I are going to have kids. Now, we had already had the discussion. That discussion was no. He didn't want any more kids and I didn't want any kids. That's why I married a man who had grown kids. You marry into a family. I got married. I got 3 kids and a grandson. Best deal ever. Best deal. And I was like, no, Pops, ain't nobody had no kids. And he's like, well, you know what? You can have the next Obama. I was like, we're not going to find out because ain't nobody doing that. But let's talk about the time for new narratives, because it is time for new narratives. Let me just do this. How did we get here? Now, these are my opinions. Nothing here is scientific. One, misguided concern. Because there are some people who believe that maybe you're missing out. Maybe the fact that you're not married, that you're not out on some dating scene, that you're not a mother, that you're not working to get rid of your baby weight, you're missing out on something. And so because I care so much about you, I'm going to get in your business. I'm going to get in your cup of Kool-Aid and figure out the flavor. Misguided concern. That's perhaps why there's some women shaming. But you know what? I thought about it. I really did. I think most of it is one of two things. One, people feel uncomfortable around what is different. Okay? Despite the fact that we talk about being individuals, and I think about those Gap commercials. It's like, come to the Gap, and they all look alike. And then if you're in New York City and you literally see yourself walking towards yourself because you're all wearing the same clothes, it's not about being an individual. People feel funny around what is different. And here you are, woman, choosing a different path. Now, they make fun of it in the movies. The auntie who cusses a little, is not married, is a little flirtatious. They're like, you don't want to be like Auntie Joni because Joni gets into stuff and that's why she's not married and you don't want to be like Joni. And then the kids are like, but Auntie Joni's a cool auntie. Like, Auntie Joni got it going on. She probably got some money too because she ain't got no kids. So she got to be rich. Right? People don't like what's different. they start to say, okay, well, this is different. I'm uncomfortable. I don't know what to do here. Right? There's this curiosity, but there's a lot of discomfort. But here's what I really think it is. And I'm going to say it. It's projection. It is, in my opinion, jealousy. Because how dare you, woman, choose a path that is against society norms, against what is traditional, against what is normal? How dare you? Because here I am, a person who lived in a household with people, and I was given this message time and time and time again about how when I go to college, I need to graduate with a husband or at least a ring, some sort of promise of being married. I cannot go to college and come away with a degree, because that's not why we go to college. We go to college to get a husband. And if I don't get a husband, I have failed. And then once I get this husband, I need to start having kids as soon as possible, because I'm supposed to be somebody's mother, and I'm supposed to like help fill out the world and make better humans. I don't know, something like that. But that's not what I really wanted to do. What I really wanted to do was go into business for myself. I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be a dancer, baker. I wanted to do all these things. And I was told that's not what women do. And that dream was beaten out of me through words, not physical action, but through words, the shaming, the constant messaging of, well, why aren't you doing this? Like, well, why aren't you doing that? So how dare you choose freedom? And I have to suffer? If I have to suffer, you have to suffer. And so I'm going to do whatever I can do to make you feel bad for not being married and for not having kids and for not being a woman with kids who has a snatched waist. I'm going to make you feel bad for that. Because if I can't have freedom, then you can't have it either. It's projection. It's projection. As a matter of fact, there was a movie. What movie was that? It's a holiday movie. Oh my goodness. Okay, help me out, people. There's a holiday movie. It's with Idris, Loretta Devine, I think. Regina King. Chris Brown is in there too. And it's Regina King's character who got married and pregnant right out of high school or something. And I think she didn't go to college. And she made a comment about just marrying the man who, you know, got her pregnant versus marry somebody she loves. Because she felt obligated to do it. And she was just really upset and angry that the life she wanted, she didn't have. Unlike her sister, who went to college, is doing all the things, is traveling the world. And she keeps making these little snide remarks about she can't cook and she can't do this. And I've always done this. I've always kept the family. And I give up my dreams because you didn't. Yeah, there's some jealousy and some resentment in these conversations, in these comments. That's what it is. It's projection. You wanted that life. You wanted it, but you gave up your dreams because somebody somewhere convinced you that you should be somebody's wife and mother and serve people all day. Because you're only here for that. You're not here for anything else. Let me talk about what Dr. Tashi shares. She says, and if you are missing out, is that their problem? Yes, I swear we would have so many more millionaires of people paid attention to their own stuff rather than everyone else's. And when I was full-time at the university here in Florida, I had students whose goal was to get married. It was unlike my experience going to school in New York. Exactly. If you don't leave school with a husband, something went wrong. That is true still. It is true still. The whole goal is to get to college and be chosen by somebody. We don't really care if he is a good person or what have you. I mean, those are bonuses, but you got to get chosen by somebody. And when there are young women who go against that, it creates chaos in their family. Creates chaos across the board. Their social circles, because they're the only one. Now, let's go back to that. It's uncomfortable. If you're the only one who's not married, it's like, Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. It's those comments that keep jabbing at you, that something's wrong with you. Forget the fact that these society norms are awful. They are awful. We are all individuals. Individuals. Now, I'm not going to lie to you because I say it every time. Was there a moment I thought that I would never get married? Yes, but I also found myself conflicted because I was like, I don't know if I want to share my space with anybody. I don't know if I want to be with somebody. You know what I mean? So we went from, yes, I need to get married, to making decisions to just marry whomever, to if I can just find someone to go out to dinner with, I'll be okay with that. I do believe most persons want a partnership. What that looks like is the question. You got to figure out what that looks like for you. That's not like, it's not the same for everybody, right? Perhaps you want to be the person who's the boss, who's running her thing. And you just want a partner. Like Oprah, you don't want to get tied down. Oprah and Stedman, they have been together, I don't know how many years. She was clear. I need to live my life. And she said, if I got married, I probably would not have been able to have the career I wanted. Yeah. As a woman, we are all individuals. We all have our own things going on. There is not a one size fits all. There's not. And at the end of the day, we have to recognize what is good for one may not be good for the other, right? The same that we talk about like our bodies. We are not one size fits all. It's just not. I keep going back to this because if you run it back, the women who were fighting for women's rights, there was always some woman who thought, I don't want you to ruin what I got going on because it's going well for me, sorta. It's sort of going well, you know? She didn't really want to say what was really going down, but she figured out how to make it work for her. She figured out, well, if I just stay here, then it'll like maybe time will fly by or whatever. Right? We weren't all on the same page. We were not all on the same page. As Ron says, Oprah has the best of both worlds. She does. When we say partnership, it could be marriage. It could be long-term. It's whatever you and your partner decide on. That's your business. It's your business. And so we need these women, because again, we're not talking about the dudes. We need these women to mind their business. Mind your own business. It got nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. You ain't paying nobody's bills over here. You're not making any dinners. When I go to bed at night, you don't even wake me up the next morning. That's not your business. If you want something, then you go get it. I don't care how old you are. And we are seeing women returning to their dreams. And I know that the typical story shown in movies is that you don't get to live your life until your kids are out of the house. You're married, you got your kids, you run them through school, they get out, fine. Now we're empty nest, we can start living. How old are you then when you start living? I'm just curious. Like, how old are you then? And for women, they have to choose. You either choose to do the career first and put love and whatever's on the back burner, even though you want it, or you choose to do that first. And we talk about waiting to exhale. When she gave up her dreams so that he could grow his business, she was the bookkeeper. You know, she was the secretary. 95 years old. Hey, as long as you get it done. She was the secretary, the bookkeeper. She did all the things to get him, his business off the ground. She put her business, her dreams on the back burner. And then when he got to where he wanted to go, he ditched her. He ditched her. That's what he did. He was like, deuces. That's what he did. Now, does it happen very often? I kind of think it does. I don't have any numbers. But you know, Ron says most people are near 50 when the kids come of age. Man, look, you are here today. You better start living your life, but try to figure it out. I do believe there is a good way. There's a fine balance of living your life, raising your kids, and do whatever. Now, I'm not going to talk about gender roles right now. because that's a different conversation. But we know without the studies that when a child is sick, they're calling the mother. And when anything happens, it is assumed the mother will leave her job. She will stay home and take care of the kids. There's that assumption. It's there, right? It's there. He says, and it does happen often. It does. You build up this business, this person, you've done all this investing, and then they drop you. And you put all your life on the sideline. Do I believe it is rooted in women have always been seen as property and to be in service of? Yes, I do believe it's rooted there. I do. Are there some folks who came out the womb and wanted to do that? Yes, there are. There are. I mean, hey, have had a kid. I was not one of them people. Gwendolyn was not one. We were not one of them. Dr. Tati says, so many women feel that they need to be sacrificial mothers, though. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Man. Next week, we're talking about trad wives. Just so you all know, we are continuing this conversation. We are talking about trad wives, traditional wives. Yes. We are talking about them and the message they share. It's a lot, man. When I say there's a lot, it's going to take a couple of weeks to get this all down. Believe it or not. A couple of weeks. And even then, we still won't be there. I don't know how you break the cycle. I have ideas what we could do, but I don't know how we break the cycle. I really don't know. I'm determined to help us get there as much as possible. I'm determined that younger women of my age, you can unlearn what you've learned. Yes, you can unlearn it. Today can be the day. There's always a good day to start something new. But I also think if we teach more young women at an early age, if we give them a new narrative, then they won't get caught up in what's here. But that requires exposure. It requires maybe volunteering, mentoring, all the things. And I know some parents are like, don't tell my daughter this and that. Okay, well, whatever. But she got an Auntie Joni somewhere. So, hey, I'm just going ahead and saying ditto to what Auntie Joni said. That's all I'm saying. But before I go, because just that fast, again, we'll pick this up next week. We'll pick it up next week. Trad Wise is on the table. Before I go, let me go ahead and shout out Gliss Optical, because as you guys all know, is where I get all my glasses. You can get yourself hooked up too. You could if you wanted to, because she does things virtually. She has a team. They do things virtually. So check out glissopticalonline.com. Make sure you do roll over to Indie Soup Media at 7 o'clock Eastern. Right, we got a replay of Girl Listen. Tonight we're talking about The Choice Is Yours. It's about choosing what's best for you. As a matter of fact, think about it. It could be a great transition or extension of this conversation. So yes, definitely tune in there. I'm going to be there in the comments. We have a wonderful interactive chat. Oh, let me wrap it up, because just that fast, I'm telling you, man, we're going to keep going into this, right? Next week, Trad Wise. Thank you all for tuning in. Whether you're watching live or in the replay, thank you for showing up. We'll see you all next Friday. Oh, wait. I guess I gotta hit this button. Hey, it's G. Thank you for watching this episode of Girl Listen. Be sure to catch me every Friday at 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. And while you're here, I cordially invite you to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you all next week.